Shalom and welcome to Simple Biblical Hebrew. I'm Eric Modal, and today we are continuing our series Learning the Hebrew Alphabet together and learning to read Hebrew, Biblical Hebrew. So if you are interested in learning Biblical Hebrew, you're at the right place. There's great teachers out there that you may also find, who even I learned from. And maybe in a further video we can share some of those one day. But I think that here at this particular school, we emphasize simplicity, and so I want to make things as simple as possible for you to learn Biblical Hebrew. And so that's sort of our bent, our slant, maybe something that makes us unique. And so hopefully you've gone through the first 3 studies in this series. Step 1, we learned, if you want to learn Biblical Hebrew, is to memorize the Hebrew alphabet. So hopefully you've done that. And then step 2 was we're going to practice learning to read Hebrew with simple vocalizations. So that's an important video that you want to go back to if you haven't already. And then last time we started reading already. We were taking Hebrew nouns and verbs, and we read 50 Hebrew words together. So hopefully you practice that, and you are able to, at this point, see any letter and make a simple vowel sound with it. Dalet, da, hey, ha, and so on. And so you can take 2 letters, and as long as you make the sounds, you'll be reading. So ah, ba, right? Father, ab, abba. So hopefully you've been practicing that, and I think that's where part of the simplicity is. There is just not worrying about the vowel sounds at this point, the nikud as we went over, but just making a simple vocalization for each letter of the alphabet for now. And then later, as you grow up, you'll start making different vowel sounds, just like a baby does in English. So step 4 then today is to find the roots. So you've got the Hebrew alphabet memorized, you've got down the vocalizations, you started reading with me last time. So now we want to start reading like whole verses in the Bible, right? Whole verses in the Tanakh. So to do that, we've got to find the roots. What do I mean by that? Well, the root in Hebrew is called the Shoresh. So when you're studying Hebrew, somebody will say, what's the Shoresh? And what they mean is, what's the Hebrew root word in a grouping of letters, the Shoresh? So Shoresh means root in Hebrew. Shoresh. You can see it there. Shin, Resh, Shin, Shoresh. So you want to be able to find that. This is going to be critical, but I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so for instance, here's Bereshit, here's Genesis 1:1, and we can see Bereshit, bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Okay, so when you're just learning Hebrew, it might be intimidating because you just see all these letters and you don't know what's going on. And so what you want to understand is that in each of these groupings of letters, there is a Hebrew root, a shoresh. There is a Hebrew word in each of these. Sometimes it's just the Hebrew root, bara, to create. But then other times it's Rosh, which is head, but it has a prefix and it has a suffix affixed to it to conjugate it, to give it different ways of being used. Right? We do this in English as well. So here's earth, right? Aretz. And so this grouping of letters, the Shoresh, is Aretz, earth. And the Hey is a prefix. It means the earth. Haaretz. So you want to be able to find the roots, and you want to understand that each of these groupings of letters, instead of just seeing a bunch of letters and not knowing what's going on, understand that in each grouping there is a Hebrew root, and you want to be able to find it. There are trilateral roots in Hebrew, and then there are bilateral roots. So there's 3-letter Hebrew roots, and there's 2-letter Hebrew roots. And the more and more you practice Hebrew, you start memorizing these roots. They get into your head and into your heart, and you get more and more words in your vocabulary and so on, and you understand how to use the prefixes and the suffixes to make sense of it all. So I've been asked a number of times what Bible app I use when I'm doing my lessons. And there's great software out there, Bible apps, to help you study and to find the roots. But you need a good Bible app. The one I use is Olive Tree Bible app, and I use this in the Apple Store. I have whatever, iPhone, iPad. So I don't know if they have it on the other platforms, but it's called Olive Tree Bible app. There's also Blue Letter Bible, which is great out there, eSword. I mean, it just goes on and on. But this is what I use and what I'm comfortable with, and some have asked me. So I get this app. It's free from the App Store. And then once you get the app, you can purchase, you can make an account, and you can purchase different Bible study tools and books and so on, and it incorporates it all into your app. And so when you're studying, it synchronizes your whole library along with you. So so I have the Olive Tree Bible app, and then I have within it, I bought the New American Standard with Strong's numbers. All right, so it's actually the New American Standard Bible. You can get any translation you want in English, but it has the Strong's numbers built in. All right, so that when you're studying here on the left, I have that New American Standard with Strong's built into it. So I can just click on Bountiful, for instance. If I want to know what it is, I can tap on it, and it tells me the Hebrew root, gamal, and it tells me the Strong's number, and it tells me what it means, right? And so then I can look over here on the Hebrew side, and for that I bought just a Tanakh, a Hebrew Bible, the Leningrad Codex. Within the Olive Tree app, you can purchase these once you make an account. They have a store, and you can purchase all kinds of stuff. But I have these two things going on when I'm studying Hebrew. So you can see it here like this. And so then over here, as I go along, it automatically syncs it and follows along, if you can see that. And so I can click on, let's say, Bountiful. If I want to know what Bountiful is, it's Gamal, and then I can look over here on the Hebrew side and find that root. Oh, there it is, Gamal, right? I can click on servant in English, and what's the Hebrew root for servant? And here it is, abed. And so I can look over here then for abed, and there it is, abed. So I know that the kaf here, the kaf sofit, is a suffix, and it means your. So it's your servant, abedecha or abedcha. So that's sort of how you find the roots quickly. You would have used to have had to pull out all your books and spread them out all over your desk, and it'd take you forever. And now you can just get whichever app you use. You can do it other ways, but this is super fast for me because I can just click on Bountiful, look over here, find, in verse 17, I can find that root in Gamal. All right, later I'll learn the vowel sounds, Gemol, but and that means deal bountifully, right? You can see right here. To deal out, to wean, to ripen. It comes from the Hebrew root to wean, like when a mother weans her child all the way to fruition. So at any rate, this is sort of how I do it. So hopefully you can get those, or however you're going to find the roots with Bible software. And so there's that Psalm 119 we were just looking at, and there are the roots. Gamal, Abed, which is servant. Chaya, which is to live. Shamar, which is, to keep. And Dabar, word. And so all these other letters are, this is actually a root too. This should probably be in red. Al, which is, upon your servant. But all of these are roots. And then you realize, as we'll learn in future videos, well, then what are all these prefixes and suffixes, and how do you use them? So that will be next time. We'll start learning how to read the prefixes and suffixes. But you can see here, for instance, dabar cha. So if we zoom in on that, we see dabar is word in Hebrew, right? If I go back to my Bible study app and I go to verse 17 here and click on word, all right, here it is, word, dabar, okay. And I know it's at the end of the verse, right? So I look over here at the end of the verse, and there it is, dabar ka, or cha, which is your word. All right, so I know that the root is word, and that kaf has to be a suffix then. And it is. It means your word. All right, so you'll learn all of this. But in closing, so if we're looking at dabar ka, your word, if we just change that suffix at the end, put a yud there instead, it's dabari, which is my word. That just means my word, right? And you'll learn all of this. Dabar o, which is his word, when you put a vav at the end. Dabar nu, it's a noon and a vav, it's a diphthong. It's two letters that make up a prefix, and it means our. Whenever you see a noon and a vav at the end of a grouping of letters, it's most of the time going to be, it means our word, our word. Dabar him, a hey and a mem, their word. This is the suffix for him. Them, their word, right? So it goes on and on. Your word, plural, dabar kim, or dabar kim, kaf mem. Kim is suffix for your word, plural, like when you're talking to a group of people. You all, right? You're all you guys' word. So, which then the kaf then is your word singular when you're talking to one person, dabar ka. Okay, so you'll learn all of this. Don't worry, it's going to be, you just start learning little by little. So next time we'll practice reading more together from the Tanakh, and we'll practice bringing out the Shoreshes, the roots, using our Bible study app, and we will begin to learn prefixes and suffixes. And don't be discouraged. It's actually not that hard. There aren't that many of them, and so you can really start learning quickly if you follow these steps. So I hope the Lord blesses you in your endeavors, that He puts His name upon you and blesses you in all you do. In Yeshua's name, Amen.